Todd here. I got my hands on a Laowa, I believe that's how you pronounce it, not totally sure on that, 24mm probe lens. I know there's been a ton of videos out there. I don't know if it was a ton, but there's been a bunch of videos out there on this thing. And I've never shot with it. I wanted to try it out. I've got it hooked up to my ZCam right now, the E2 F6, so I'm really curious to see how it works with this. I normally have a bunch of Nike product that I'm shooting in here, and it turns out I don't right now, but I do a lot of Doc Marten stuff as well, and I've got these cool polka dot boots from a shoot we had and left over. So we'll do a little test looking at some of those, which is probably where I would use something like this on some product I'm shooting here in the studio. Other than that, I really don't know when I would use this lens. It seems very cool. I don't have the power adapter to light up the front of these guys, the little lights on the front, but I know I can find something to make that work if I zoom into something that's dark, see how that works to light it up on the inside. But anyway, let's get back to shooting and seeing how this thing functions. For this first little shot I'm doing of the bottom of the sole, got the Nanlite Pavo tube here, got a grip arm down here holding the shoe in position, and I've got the light raking across so I can pick up the type and what they've got and all the texture of the bottom of the shoe. A little dust off to make sure it's nice and clean. And then got my glasses on so I can make sure I'm in focus. And then it's just grabbing the shot how I want it. And this lens is an f14 to f40 on this thing, so I'm wide open with this lens, f14. And let's see what we come up with here. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Well, you can sure pick up all the imperfections in the shoe being this close. So now I've flipped the shoe around. I'm gonna go into the insole, into the logo inside there. I've got my V-mount battery here hooked up with USB-C that's right there, and then right into the V-mount. And you can see now that this thing is working. So I've got the light on, frame this guy up here, and I've got a little clamp on my bar here so I know how far to go in when I need to stop and everything's in focus. So let's give that a try now. So we got that shot looking inside the boot there with the light on, with the battery hooked up to this thing, which pretty simple to do. Looks pretty cool, and that worked really well. So now I'm gonna do a few other shots. I'm gonna tip this guy straight down and do a little run around on some other things on the threads and see how that looks and put a little something together. So I got some cool shots with the shoes. Now I'm doing this old beat up prop guitar I've got in here. It's missing a string. Just doing a little run across this down here. So now one last little thing I want to look at here. I've got my 100mm macro and I got my 24 to 105, which goes macro as well. Not quite as macro as this, but I want to see how much different this looks, this probe lens, to these two lenses, just as a side-by-side comparison, just to get a feel for how much different this lens really looks on here. So we're going to do that now. Probe lens on first, record a little spot of that. Now I've got on the 100mm macro. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see here with the 100mm macro, quite a bit different than having the 24 wide perspective view that you get with that. This is way tighter, not nearly as interesting. I mean, it's cool looking, but it's not nearly as interesting as with the probe lens. So switch to the 24 to 105 macro and see what that looks like. So as you can see here with this 24 to 105 macro, it's, you know, it's wider obviously, but it just doesn't even compare to the probe lens. And you can put it to, I mean, I guess right here, but then you need to back up. I mean, you can macro out at a 105. That's closer. That's closer to the 24 to 105, the 24 probe lens, but still not nearly as dynamic a feel that you get with that probe lens. That's a look at this probe lens. It worked great on the ZCam, which I'm super happy about. I really like the look and feel that this lens gives you. Like the opening shot I did of going by the stapler to my hand on the keyboard. I love that. Gives me a lot of ideas on to use this in some other projects I'm working on. But I think it's going to work great on shooting shoe products, especially for me when I'm doing stuff with shoes for Nike and Doc Martens. I can think of 1,000 different ways I can use this thing. But yeah, I don't know. You know, I picked this one up used. I don't know if I would go buy one new, or I would rent it maybe just to try it before you think about getting one, unless you have specific needs where you really need to probe into things and do stuff like that. Renting it, I think, is a great idea. It worked great. I really love the look. And yeah, I think it's cool. Hope you like the video. I really appreciate watching, and until next time, I'm out. Oh, and any questions, leave them down below. I'll try and answer them if I can. And yeah, I'm out.